So, as mentioned, one of the biggest parts of this book, and one of the biggest parts of the investment part of creating a podcast, is going to be the equipment. And so, we're going to go over a couple of the different options we have. And like I said in the getting started video and in the book, you can go here on the lower side, you can go really high on the higher side. It gets really expensive. But you don't really need to do that. But I'll mention them anyway, just in case you have the money, you have the following already, and you want to start with the best. But you don't have to. So let's start with microphones. So when it comes to microphones, one of the cheapest ones that I recommend for starting, if you're going to have no more than 2 people in person at a time, is the one I'm using right here. This is the Blue Yeti microphone. It's a great USB mic. You don't have to have a mixing board, so you already cut that price out. And it offers many different options. You can see in the back here, there's a gain that picks up the volume or lowers the volume. But then there's many different settings here. There's a cardioid setting. There's a stereo setting. There's an omnidirectional setting and a bidirectional setting. You can get these for under $100. About $100, you can get these on Amazon, and they're great quality. But like I said, the limitation is that if you're going to have more than 2 people at the same in person doing a podcast, it could create a little too much room in the sound and not be as crisp as you're hearing me talk on this right now, because I'm just one person. So it's a great way to start, and if you're doing podcast recording over like a Google Hangouts or a Skype or something, this is the perfect thing to use. I use this all the time for Google Hangout podcasts that I help produce for other people all the time. It's great. Now, if you're going to have more than 2 people, I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and get a mixing board. And that mixing board that I recommend, it's a Mackie. I like Mackies because the preamps they have in those boards are a lot better than a lot of the other boards I've tried. And the preamps are important because the cardioid mics that you're going to get that use the XLR inputs, they can be really low on volume without those preamps, and they need those preamps to increase the gain. Like this one, or as you can see, already has the gain in there, so it really makes it cost for you. But if you're going to get cardioid mics that go into the mixing board, you're going to need some good preamp gain. And the Mackies, from my experience, just seem to have the best. And you want to make sure it's a USB mixing board, because if it's not a USB mixing board, it doesn't do you much good, since you get it in your computer to record. The one that I use is the Mackie Pro FX 8V2. It's just an 8-channel mixing board, and it can take up to 4 mics. It's very rare that you're going to need more than that. They sell the same USB mixing board with more inputs, and it gets more expensive, obviously. But more than 4 at a time, it's very rare you're going to use more than that. But the option is available, and you can get those for a couple of $100. They're not that expensive. Now, what do you pair with that mixing board? What's a good mic? Well, like I said, the range goes from here to here. The one thing that remains constant is that I highly recommend a cardioid microphone. There's 2 types of microphone. There's a cardioid, and then there's a condenser. Now, condensers are made to pick up all the sound around you. So it's going to pick up every little sound. If you're in an apartment and you have neighbors, it's going to pick up all those sounds. If they're walking above you in the ceiling, it's going to pick up that. It's going to pick up everything, because they're meant to record orchestral instruments and concerts. They put that kind of mic, when they want to record an orchestra, they put a condenser mic in the center of that, so it gets all the instruments and the ambiance and the reflection off the walls and everything. When you're doing podcasting, you want the voice to be the primary source. You don't want the ambience. You have no business wanting any reverb or environmental sound. You just want the voices to be as clean as possible. And the Cardioid just picks up whatever's right in front of it. So those are the ones I'm going to recommend. Now, my favorite, and a lot of people's favorite, is the SM58 from Shure. Now, those can be over $100. If you ever gone to a concert, probably 99% of the time, what they're singing into is a Cardioid Shure SM58. But I have one that I really, really like, and I actually have toured with it. When I played shows, when I used to play shows in bands, I used to do that. But now I use them for podcasting. I use them for a lot of our best podcasts. And you can get these for almost $50. There's a knockoff called the GLS Audio SM58. Well, they call it an ES 58. And this is what it looks like right here. It's a GLS Audio ES58S. And as you can tell, this is pretty used up. But you know what? They last a long time. I've taken this all over the country. It's been in bags. It's hit the ground many, many times. And it's a strong, strong microphone. It'll last you a lifetime, and the quality is great. And you can get these for about $50 on Amazon. It's a great deal. So if you're gonna have to buy 3 or 4 of them, you might as well get these. These are the ones to go. Now, on the large end of the spectrum is the Shure SM7B. Now, Joe Rogan uses these. He's one of the top podcasters in the world. A lot of radio shows use these. It's the best mic you can buy for radio and podcasting types. It's a Cardioid too. It's just the quality is amazing. I don't even own one. I've heard them being used, and I've seen them being used, and I've produced around them before, and the quality is just is superior to everything else. But those are going to run you, $300 to $500 a piece. So that's not something that's really sustainable as a beginner in the beginning. And you get great audio with even this Blue Yeti mic or the SM58. You don't have to get that crazy. Now, recording software. You would think you're going to have to spend something on recording software. But guess what? You don't. You don't have to spend a dime. There's a free software program called Audacity. And they have it available for PC or Mac. And it's absolutely free. No strings attached. You just download it. It's open source. It's free. And it records easy. It doesn't take up a lot of CPU, which can give people some problems sometimes. And that's what we use. That's what everybody that I've helped ever produce, they use Audacity to record. And you select your mic on there, whether it be the USB mic or you select your board. If you have the USB board with the SM58s or whatever you have, that's the one you're going to use. So it's called Audacity. And I won't even go any further than that because there's nothing better. It's free and it's super easy to use. So no point in going any further. Now, when it gets to editing, Audacity does have some features and you can definitely do, a fair job with it. But, if you're on a Mac, you're also going to have GarageBand. You can do a fair job with that too when it comes to editing. But what I use and personally recommend is Adobe Audition. There is a monthly fee. You used to have to pay like $1,000 for the software. Now you can do a monthly fee with Adobe to be able to use the software with their Creative Cloud. But I mean, it's worth it. The plugins they have for editing out noise, for crisping up your sound, for mixing and cutting audio, and then the final mix down and the settings that you can use. Adobe Audition is just the way I personally go. But you can still get stuff done with Audition. You can still get stuff done with GarageBand, and there's probably another number of editors out there that you can use. But what I'm most familiar with is Adobe Audition. So later in the videos, when I show you the process that I take in Adobe Audition, you can more than likely apply that to use with other programs and just find find settings and everything that are the same or close to work for you.